the truth of the matter is, some of the youths them on the road are living off of things they've not been involved in, not lived, but they want to tell people this is how things are. The example I'm using is around gangs. Where can you start with gangs? Well, gangs started long before everybody in this room was even born. Gangs has been going on for a long time. Ain't something new, it's not a new phenomenon, but it's been going on for a long time. I started one of the first gangs in 1977 in Brixton. The name of the gang was called the Black Mariah Gang. It was a sound system based gang. Basically, we started out fighting racist police officers who at that time would subject us to violence, both physically and verbally. So, many of the men in my age group, who were 13 at the time, decided to protect our neighbourhood from racist police officers and the National Front. As time went on, we imploded. For those who don't know what implode means, we began to self-inflict violence onto people who look like us. Because we was losing the battle fighting racist police officers, and like myself, keep getting arrested and getting a criminal record. The problem has been, my generation failed your generation. We never had a legacy, we never had no vision, we never had no purpose. Because at that time we were full of anger. Like some of the youths them today, full of anger. But can't explain what they're angry about. I'm here to explain what that anger is. That anger is based in rejection and not poverty. There are people out there that tries to claim that poverty is the reason why young guys are involved in gang violence. Well, if that was the case, most of our parents who came over here in 59 to 60s would have been the biggest gangsters going, because they grew up in poverty. So that's a lie straight. So when I hear a young youth telling me about, oh, on the ends, boy, things is rough, I know that's a lie, because he ain't lived a rough life. Because if he grew up where we grew up in Spanish Town, he would know about rough life. Where you walk in streets with no shoes at your foot. Where you can't find a toilet because the toilet's outside and you've got to dig the pit. So when man's talking about, oh, the ends, I want to make it clear that the ends is not exactly what you're trying to make it out to be. In fact, I'll put it this way. Most young people don't even actually know what poverty is, because they've never lived it. But my generation, my brothers, we lived it. But did they all become gangsters? No. We had 5 brothers in my household. I was the only one who became a gangster. So that blows the myth straight out the window about poverty. Let's talk some clear facts. Gang life is not gang life. Let me tell you what gangs are. Gangs are organised criminal network. Not a bunch of school kids talking about and protecting the ends. Most gangs in this country, in London, do not earn a penny. But there are gangs like London Fields who tries to make out that they're all that because they're wearing some platinum train. But the platinum train that they're wearing is rented. Oh yes, they ain't bought nothing. The record label they've got called Mashtown, they ain't making no money off of that Mashtown. That's why it's called Mashtown. The fact is, some of you guys who know gangsters, you need to start speaking up about the truth. Stop letting them feed you a pack of lies and giving you the perception of fear. Because the problem has been, in our community for a very long time, we need to recognise there are more young people not involved in gangs than are involved in gangs. So let me just put it to you right now correctly. I want the first 3 rows to all stand up. The first 3 rows. And you sir, stand up, brethren, stand up. Okay, that brother there in the leather jacket. You represent the gangs. This is how we outnumber them. It's a complete joke and a myth to believe that there were more gangs in London than decent young men. That is rubbish. The thing of the matter, you can sit down, sorry about that. The fact of the matter is this. We are all buying into fear, and I'm going to explain to you about fear. When I started my gang, and I imploded, that means I started to act violence on other young people who look like me. I was what you call an enforcer. Do you know what an enforcer is? An enforcer is a person that extracts money for drug dealers. That is what I've done. That is organised criminal network. Not somebody talking about a postcode. There's a big difference between young men committing serious group violence and young men actually involved in organised criminal network. There were over 350 gangs in London. Of that 350, only about 50 are organised criminal network. And that does not include Down to Murder gang or the Don't Say Nothing gang. That does not include them. Because them are just a bunch of hype young people believing their own hype. Because when you start telling yourself something for long periods of time, you start believing it. And the problem with Don't Say Nothing gang is exactly that. Don't say nothing. Because their brain is infilled with nothing more than music that fills their brain with don't say nothing, rap music, don't say nothing, grime, which fills their brain believing that they can portray what the record tells them. That is not a gang. That is a young person who cannot control his own mind, who's making you believe that he's something he's not. Too much young people are allowing these young people to fill your head with nonsense. And why has this happened? Because my generation failed. And I'll tell you why my generation failed. As a black man standing up before you, I can assure you, I was in jail one day and my dad said, he ain't coming to get me. And at that point, I turned like a mouse. Because when you're in jail, you meet the real bad man, who's doing a long stretch. And that real bad man is coming to get you. And I won't repeat what he's going to do to you because of the children that's in this room. But I think some of you guys know exactly what I mean. Well, let me tell you something about gangs. Most of the gangs that get locked up in real prisons, the London Fields, the Don't Say Nothing gang, Peckham Young Guns, when they go into big man jail, they become Minnie Mouse, just like me. But what happens is, they come back out and feed you a story to make you believe that they were running things. The fact is, they ran nothing, just like me. Because when you go in jail, as a 14, 16, 18-year-old, there is man in there serving 10 to 15 for things that will make your skin crawl. And the problem has been for a long time, is us older folks sit back and watch you younger generation get fed a pack of lies from young people who look like you. The fact is, these gangs are nothing when they're on their own. Not one gang member, I can tell you right now, on their own will be nothing. But what happens is, they base their perception of intimidating you so that when you see them with their boys, as they call them, or in some cases their fam, they will come and step to you. What I'm saying to you now is you need to start stepping up. And I'm not talking to the young men, I'm talking to the big men. Because for far too long in our community, we've allowed a pack of wolves to run around and start yamming up people. But the fact is, we need to do more than what we're doing. We need to stand up and be counted. So I run Gangs Line and Tag, and we go onto the estates, the most deprived estates, the so-called deprived estates, where the so-called artist gangs are, to start delivering programs face to face. We don't talk it, we walk it. The difference has been, we don't allow gangsters to feed us the hype or their pack of lies because we see through them. And as somebody that has lived that lifestyle, I can assure you, there was no one that I've ever met in my lifestyle that is really bad. Because most young people are quite scared. They're actually scared because they feel there's no one out there protecting them, so they have to draw for weapons to protect themselves. Well, I'm saying this, bruv, and cuz, and sis, and I know I've got to go, but the fact is, You have got brothers out there to protect you. I'm one of them. So I've got my phone number, and if you feel that you've been bullied or intimidated by a gang member, call my number for free. And believe you me, when we step, we're stepping with no half measures. We're stepping to make sure we reclaim the estates back. Those estates don't belong to gang members. They don't belong to no one. Do you know why? Because gang members don't work. They don't even pay tax. So how on earth could they own a postcode? You've bought into something that is nonsense. When a man comes up to tell you about where you're from, bruv, say, bruv, you don't own this. Stop telling me where I'm from where I want to be. The time has come for you men, you young men and women, to start thinking, stop allowing young men to feed you with nonsense and start self-achieving. Looking at what you're worth, checking out your identity, see who really matters in your life. And what you will find is that so-called gang member don't really matter much in your life. You don't have to be intimidated by gang members. You don't have to be bullied by gang members. What you need to do is find people like you who can stand with you in the face of adversity, so that when you come and meet these guys, they know they're outnumbered. Because there is no estate in the UK where a gang member outnumbers the people not involved in gangs. That is nonsense. So what I want you to do when you leave from here, if you don't want to take anything I say on board, is to remember that one fact, that whatever estate you come from, you are in the majority and the gangs are in the minority. And you need to flip the script and turn it on its head for what it really is. A bunch of top brothers who don't know themselves, who actually think by not going to school is actually achieving something. What you should do is embarrass them and say, bro, what are you going to do when you're 20? No job, no money, no girl, no marriage, no house, no fam, no nothing. That's what you should do. Because those brothers amount to nothing when they don't change. Stop allowing them to make you believe that school don't mean nothing. It's important that you understand where you need to be. Be around like-minded people who can make serious changes. And the only way you can do that is if you stand up and be counted. Stand up and be counted. Stop cowering to gang members, because I don't. I've got 4 kids, they're all here. 5, well, 4 kids. Sorry. 4 kids. Sorry about that. For a miscount, I've got 4 kids and I'm a married man. Okay? And what I'm just trying to say basically is this. We are believing the hype too much. We're believing that gangsters are gangsters. They're not. These are not gangsters. These are nomads. If you know what a nomad is, they don't know where they are. They travel with nothing in their life. They have no purpose. So what we want to do is start empowering our young people to stand up and be counted. And I know some of the young people in here who's got their backs to me right now. I know they know who the gang members are. I know they know what I'm talking about. When I'm saying this to you, bruv, if you don't want to take the message of what I'm saying, have a look at the amount of graves that counts the age 14, 15, 16 and 17. You find they outnumber men that are 35. So when you find out the graves are outnumbering men that are 45, 35, then you begin to realize something is seriously wrong. So I know my time's up. I'm sorry that I couldn't really stay any longer. I'm not sure if you wanted me to stay any longer, but I just thought I'd deliver that for you.